Vince McMahon is said to be making heavy alterations to WWE creative. We also have injury updates from last weekend's AEW Double or Nothing, and Rhea Ripley has reacted to the Double or Nothing mention of herself and Dominik Mysterio. More on that in this video. Hello everybody, Jack and Ross back again with more wrestling news. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select has been talking about Vince McMahon and his involvement, or the degree of his involvement, in recent WWE creative schemes.
Apparently, according to Fightful Select, Vince McMahon has regularly been making changes to WWE shows remotely as he sees fit. Remotely, though he hasn't been backstage. Per Sapp, the roster has been assured that Triple H is still the chief content officer, but McMahon has made the changes as he sees fit. My goodness.
Sean Ross Sapp also mentions that his sources noted that when Vince McMahon calls in remote changes, he does so with heavy alterations. So he might not do it all the time, but when he does, it's all over the place.
They know what's happened,
apparently, some of the talent have stated they continue, though, to have more flexibility with their promos than they did during the previous regime, which does seem to be a Triple H mandated change. And also, apparently, things have improved since Vince was regularly around, but everybody's on guard considering the possibility that he could show up again, as he did last month. Was it last month?
Yeah,
when he just
last month.
Up.
Yeah. It's interesting because there was definitely hallmarks of Vince McMahon stuff creeping back in at the weekend, I thought, in Saudi Arabia. Like Natalya losing on her birthday. Vince McMahon loves, I know she was never going to win that match, but the way she lost that match on her birthday, that's a classic Vince McMahon hallmark.
If Mansoor had been on the card, he would have lost because it's his home country.
Exactly, that sort of thing. And then obviously Solo Sikoa's lost his surname.
Oh yeah, he's just
Can't
Solo.
believe it.
I wondered whether Heyman meant to do that, or whether it was just a little. Heyman doesn't make mistakes. Yeah, Heyman doesn't make mistakes.
He's the consummate professional, as Paul Heyman.
I think Solo is just a silly name on its own. I know that makes sense, Solo just on its own, but I don't think it's good.
I'd just go on Sikoa.
Sikoa, yeah, why not? Yeah, Solo, silly
Solo. But yeah, it's nice to hear that people are still feeling it's like better than it was. I guess that's something to take away from the story. But it's interesting to know how it maybe might work. Triple H obviously will have a plan for Raw in the day, building up to how close to
in the weeds.
Yeah, how close to showtime is Vince calling up and going change everything?
Oh god, I bet it's a stressful environment. Yeah. Moving on now to updates following Double or Nothing, as per PW Insider, because apparently it seemed like MJF might have injured himself on the spot where he powerbombed Darby Allin off the top and then seemed to hurt his own arm in the process.
I thought you were going to say he injured his vocal cords, the amount he was shouting during that match. He was screaming.
Yeah, he was.
What the F? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, but before he got hit with the move, I can't remember what the move was, but yeah.
There's a compilation on YouTube now, I don't know who made it, of all MJF screams during that match. It's a thrilling watch.
The terror of all three other pillars coming for him at once.
He was never scared, was he?
No.
PW Insider saying, though, the AEW champion MJF, is that while he banged up his forearm last night when Darby Allin landed his arm during a top rope powerbomb spot, the belief is he okay? My God, put your teeth in, Ross. The belief is he is okay and didn't break anything, which is good news.
Oh, fair enough. PW Insider also say that the injuries sustained from the Anarchy in the Arena match are, aside from cuts, bumps and bruises, not major. No major injuries from the Anarchy in the Arena match.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say, even if MJF did break his arm, it wouldn't make much of a difference, would he, when he wrestles at the big events?
He would have time to recover, yeah. What did you make of the Anarchy in the Arena match?
I thought it was fantastic, me. I don't know what else you say.
I thought it was fun, but so silly.
No, it's all
so silly, wasn't it?
Fantastic professional wrestling with the exploding Jordan Sparks.
The exploding shoe.
Jordan Sparks. Remember her from the late 90s? Late 90s, sorry. Yeah, she's wanting a gimmick back, Matt Jackson. I thought the stuff with the screwdriver, obviously Takeshita, I thought that was a good swerve. I'm interested to see if they're actually in the BCC or just vigilantes at this point.
Yeah.
The stuff with Hangman and Kenny was nice storytelling, I thought, as well, even though I don't agree with Hangman going back to the Bucks.
Oh, no.
But they're a family, Jack.
No, they tied together a lot of different things at once, didn't they? Yeah, it was
I thought
fair
it was a good
enough.
match.
AEW apparently held a mandatory talent meeting prior to Double or Nothing as well. This is according to Fightful Select, who say that former WWE Vice President of Communications Adam Hopkins, who was hired by AEW earlier this year in a PR role, led this meeting and stressed the importance of media literacy. Now, before we carry on with this story, do you remember that when he got let go, there was a big story. WWE have let go this well-regarded employee of many, many years.
Yeah, all this, like, people, I remember Big E was especially quite, sent a nice message on Twitter and stuff. There was a fair few people on the social medias going like, thank you for all you've done and all that sort of stuff. So yeah,
so apparently he stressed the importance to the AEW roster of media literacy, which, I mean, we've seen a lot of drama. I don't know, how do you say this? We hear a lot about the backstage goings on in AEW.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what he means. Maybe he means be more careful. Well, what did he go on to say? Sorry,
well, he's just basically speaking told talent to ensure they establish when they're speaking off the record, which is good to journalists, because when you say to a journalist it's off the record, they then shouldn't report it.
Yeah.
If they do, they're a massive arse.
Yeah.
In certain situations, they have to say they're off the record, and to make sure whoever they are speaking to is aware of what the term means, which is a very interesting thing.
Yes. The meeting wasn't done apparently to criticise the talent, but to simply inform them on how to better protect themselves and AEW itself from misinformation. Someone pointed out next door, I can't remember who it was, we were talking about this news story and someone said, we've just heard about that. We've heard about this meeting. But I mean, it's not like groundbreaking stuff. That's probably fine. But
there is still like someone was in that meeting going, oh, this has happened, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's off the record. Oh, you didn't say it off the record before you said that, therefore I've got to report it.
Apparently, though, Adam Hopkins wasn't the only person to speak at the meeting. Brian Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli, they're from the Blackpool Combat. You can't trust them. They spoke at the meeting as well, with Claudio stressing that media interviews are apparently a way for the talent to promote themselves, their story, and their current on-screen programs, which is a fair thing to stress in the modern wrestling world, I suppose.
It's also interesting coming from him, because he's not one of the ones who do many of like the shoot interviews and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Maybe it's better, just in the words of Ronan Keaton, to say nothing at all.
Maybe it's from his position as an internet darling. Maybe he's like, I know how to court the press in this modern world, I suppose. The meeting was also apparently praised by those in attendance, with the top talent saying that Adam Hopkins was a game-changing hire for AEW when it comes to PR.
You would expect so, with like just that experience and that sort of well wishes from all the superstars in WWE. So yeah,
yes,
good for him. Up the Hopkins.
Up the Hopkins. Fightful Select also reporting that AEW talent were informed over Double or Nothing weekend that Collision, this new show that's going to be starting in a few weeks' time,
3 weeks, June the 17th,
wow.
I think. Yeah.
Might begin as a soft brand split before developing into a harder roster split, but the talent haven't been told anything specific, and Tony Khan is yet to explain any of these plans.
Yeah, in the latest update on the situation, Fightful Selectors report the AEW. Oh my God, is that the bit? I thought you were doing the first paragraph.
No, I just missed out the first paragraph because it was just a lead in. I'll just miss that.
Interesting one, because we've seen like obviously Miro, Thunder Rosa, other people just sort of that is their show. That's the hard bit. Yeah. They're going to be sort of maybe not the. I want to look for a different word than pillars, but the pillars of Collision.
The pillars of Collision. What do you think of in terms of what is a hard roster split versus a soft brand split?
Well, a soft is what Rhea currently doing, with Heyman rocking up on Raw, and even though he's a SmackDown person,
right?
Hard is what we used to do back in 2004, baby.
Maybe
SmackDown was just SmackDown, Raw was just Raw.
I think I've been misinterpreting this story from the start, because I always thought of when there's been said hard versus soft brand split, I thought that meant in terms of on-screen how official that's been made. So a soft brand split is more of an implied one, but we don't know it for certain, whereas a hard one's like them explicitly laying out to the audience, right, this is a draft, these are the two sides.
Yeah, I guess both explanations count.
Yeah, I suppose so. We'll have to wait and see what happens there with their Collision, which will go down in history as the most entertaining wrestling show of all time.
This is a prediction you've had. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I hope it comes true for you.
Well, it all rides on CM Punk now, doesn't it?
Well, he's going to be there. We know that for a fact now. Surely we know that for a fact.
Do you ever know anything for a fact when it's CM Punk?
But it's in that arena, isn't it? It's in that Chicago arena, so it can't be anybody else.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
No, the other one, the big one.
Oh, the
bigger one.
The other one.
That one,
yeah. And finally, if you were watching AEW Double or Nothing over the weekend, you'll have noticed during the Acclaimed's entrance for their and Billy Gunn for their trios match with the House of Black that Max Caster made a reference to Rhea and Dominik. He said, Buddy Matthews, think you're all ominous while you're getting cut by a boy called Dominik.
And the most I said on WTF, the most egregious thing is the rhyme of ominous and Dominik.
It's a bad rhyme, isn't it?
Colonic is what I came up with. I did a little rap. And I was like, that's tough poo, Max. It need a colonic. Oh. Because it rhymes with Dominik.
If you're watching Max Caster,
I'll get Joel to put the video on. No, we don't have to do so. Just go and watch WTF if you want to. But yeah, it was weird to hear them referencing, not just something like, obviously it's easy to go like, oh, something about Vince McMahon after everything that's come out about Vince McMahon over the past year, whatever. But to reference something in kayfabe, I was a bit like, come on, we don't need to do that.
Oh, it was a nice little crowd popping moment though, lighthearted, do you think? I don't know.
But Buddy Matthews doesn't agree.
Do you remember the In-Betweeners reunion episode that was a disaster, where they got the 4 cast members of The In-Betweeners and sat them on like a panel show with Jimmy Carr?
Yeah.
And Jimmy Carr was laughing at the lad who plays Will going like, oh, the teacher's getting with your mum. And he went, but she's not, but he's not, because it's not real, Jimmy.
That's exactly what's happened here.
Do you think that's how you... Yeah, yeah.
But because Buddy Matthews has been on Twitter saying, Rhea Ripley started off first by saying, hey, Dom, we're over in 2 companies, which is it's a fair thing to say, getting reference like that. And then Matthews responded with a bit of a sassy response to that.
And he said, yes, you are over in 2 companies. Congratulations, they made you famous during their TV time. They made you famous.
Made you more famous during their TV time?
Made you more famous, right? That's better, because leaving out the word more there, I thought he was insulting Rhea, but is he actually is he insulting the Acclaimed?
He's insulting the fact it was brought up during the...
They've been stupid. They should get themselves over on their TV time.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Just don't reference the other company ever.
Yeah, I thought after all the bobs were thrown, I thought it was a really fun match.
It was a fun match.
Yeah.
It wasn't as one of the longer matches on the card, but it did its job very well.
The House of Black were wrestling like FTR. They cut off the hot tags all the time.
Malachi doing his big old kickalicious.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Billy Gunn countering a chop by going F you and then hitting a famous.
He's still the hardest looking man in AEW,
so
Billy Gunn.
Scary.
It's funny.
Yes. Thank you very much for watching this news video. Do have a look at our earlier news video today as well on this very channel, and leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Thanks
and all the weekend content, Jack.
All the weekend content from the past. We've had so much stuff with the 2 big shows, but we'll also talk about NXT Battleground on this week's podcast. We've got 2 episodes of WTF Moments up now, one for the WWE show, one for the AEW one. Same for What Happened At, if you haven't watched the shows and just want a quick recap of what happened, and the live stream reactions and all that.
They're still up there.
They're still up there as well. It's been it's been like a mini WrestleMania weekend.
It has. I don't know how else you say that.
You had fun?
It's been okay. It's been okay.
Fair enough. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you very soon.